Before I start, I just want to thank everyone for making time to join in for LSBT, our software test training. So I think practically today we're just going to talk through what we do to get people into the job market. When I say job market, to train people to go into the companies to work as a software test engineer. As a company, basically, we have different kind of IT training, but this is one of our products that we also want to share with you guys. So today, basically, we will talk you through that. And if you are happy with what we are showing you and you want to be on board, you'll be welcome. So yeah, I'm going to start. Let me share put it in a big screen. Okay. But in the meantime, if I'm talking and you have any question, you can. I know sometimes some people don't want to talk, but if you want to type it in, yes, you are welcome as well. I don't mind to stop and just give you an answer on that. So I'll give you a little bit about LSBT. What we do on as LSBT, we have online courses that we do, and we have short courses. So this is one of our short courses that we do. Yes, so I'm one of the directors for LSBT. By name Kwame Ofosu-Debra. So just to the agenda for today is basically I just want to touch on why we testing. I just want to give you a brief understanding of the types of testing and also what entails in the software development life cycle. And most importantly, we also have the testing, because we have the testing life cycle. I'm going to talk to you about that. And one of the most important things is when you want to go into this job market, we need to have the idea of agile methodology, which is the agile process. So I'll touch a little bit on that as well. And when we are training candidates, we also make sure that you have a live project. So it's like a hands-on. That's the structure we've put in place for our training. It's a hands-on training that will give candidates more practicals to be able to go through your interviews, and hopefully you'll be able to get a job. Second, let me start recording here. Okay, so and also we have Joseph, who will be one second. Joseph will be taking us through. He's one of our directors who will be taking us through the automation testing. Joseph is the one who handle training so I'll hand over to Joseph at a point to take us through the automation testing. So this is the plan, and we hopefully after that we're going to take questions from you guys. If you have any question, we will take it from you. So I'm just going to start. Something here. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I think just to start with how I even got in. Before I started testing, I have a little bit of trouble, like I would say a stumble. When I finished my master's, I was trying to look for an option where I'll be able to work and feel comfortably. So I'm just accepting people. Okay. So one of the things that I got stumbled after I finished my master's is I was doing all sorts of jobs, like security jobs, care jobs. And finally, I landed an admin job, but it was still not what I was looking out for. So when I was talking to a friend of mine, he said, oh, there's a training that they provide for software IT role. I was like, no, that basically is not something I can do, because I have my master's. My mindset has been management and finance. So I didn't think about IT. So he said, oh, people from different backgrounds can do it. And I took it upon myself. It was very short training, 2 weeks training. After that, they are pushing you to put your CV out there. That was the initial stage way back when I started. So initially there was a trouble because you have to go through interviews. You don't understand what you are even saying from the first stage. And luckily, I think after 6 months, I got a job. But I didn't stop. I think mostly they advised me to make sure you applying jobs not less than 20 jobs a day. So you'll be able to get calls from the recruiters and they'll give you respond, and then you keep going on. But what I noticed is when I was going to the interview process, I was learning from each interview. I learned and moved to the next one. So that was some of the things that I can share with you. But it took me time within the same team. Some of my candidate our participants got job within a month, but and some of my teammates also got job. I think after a year. So it all depends how you are pushing for pushing yourself to get into the market. But one of the things that I will say is that there's it doesn't matter your background. You should be able to. This is more of an upscaling. That's what I say. So you have your skills already. You upskill yourself within short time. You have the mindset to go through the interviewers, and that is what we do in our training. So that's what I can share with you about myself. But I've been working for over 10 years now, and basically currently I've also finished my PhD. I did my PhD in blockchain. So whilst I'm doing that, I started progressing, but I noticed that there's so much growth and flexibility. If you want to work from home, there's so much flexibility to work in the sector. So that's a little bit about myself here. And before I start discussing what the development roles are, these are the major roles that when you are working on a software project, sometimes I know people might be thinking, what is that? What is this? So I wanted to capture this for everyone to see. These are some of the training that we do. BA, basically, when we have BA on a project, their role is to just handle the requirements on the project. And when we have a project management, their main role is to handle the budget. So they'll be discussing who have to come in, what time this project is going. So they'll be managing that. So that is the role of the project management. And also we have the UX designer. The UX designer, when the project is starting from scratch, mostly they'll be building the iframe or designing the application for the software developers. And one of the major roles as well is the software development. So the software developers, what do? They are basically the ones who write the code, who write the knowledge of the application. So some of the roles can be front end, back end, and also they have people who also write APIs, and so it's basically one of the key things because they develop the application. And the final thing that I want to share, which is basically what we are discussing today, is the software testing. So the software testing is also another department on its own, and that is what I wanted to share with you guys. One of the key things that I also want to share, why is software testing important? We've seen the roles, and why do you think software testing is important? So I wanted to share with you why testing has become very important on the software development application. Mostly softwares are having issues, and testers come in to make sure that bugs is not going into production. So we have a scenario where Nissan was calling 1 million cars for a defect on the airbag. And this was just because of a software failure. And this might be that they did not test it properly. But just imagine if you are calling 1 million cars, what is going to happen here? That means that the company has lost a lot of money. So these are some of the main things that software is. We have China Airlines, which basically crashed, killing people because of software error. Starbucks also closing 60% of their stores because of POS system, payment system, which was collecting different, I think the amount that it was collecting was wrong. So they have to close down 60% of their stores. But just imagine when you are in business and you have these errors because you've not tested your software properly. That is going to cause the company, mostly CEOs and software managers, some people have to resign when some of these errors are happening. So companies have taken it upon themselves to make sure that software testing become a very big area to make sure that it's been tested, because before they started developing software application, it was only developers who were doing their unit tests, and the reason why they left them to do it, they believe that they can build their code, but they noticed that developers can be biased in dealing with their code. So they wanted to get software team, testing team to also test it whilst product has been developed. Okay, let me share the final one with you. This is just a recent issue where Tesla recalled almost 12,000 vehicles because of their models that they were having failing. So now this incident has made software testing a very key role in the software development lifecycle. And I'm sharing this with you for you to understand that when you want to go into this area, these are the problems that are sitting down. And when they enroll you on a project, you know what you have to do. Okay. One of the things that I also pointed today is I'm going to touch on the introduction of software testing. Okay. And I also want to share something briefly about the job. One second. Okay. About the job market. So let me escape that. I just have something here. People want to find out, do we have jobs in the job market? I just did a search today for software testing. Okay, this is one of the sites where you can register and see it yourself. But even today, when I just search software testing, you can see we have over 3,600 jobs. Okay, and some of the roles, let's look at this one. This is more of a manual role. Look at how much they are paying. It's not just, I'm not just exaggerating. Is there, if anyone, you can check it yourself. You can see they're paying you this amount of money. And some of the roles that they are asking you here, this is part of the training that we are giving candidates so that you have the mindset to speak to the recruiters. Okay. So you can see this is a manual testing paying 50K. This is another one paying 40K. And even when you go into contract, that means you are going to make a lot of money. We have the permanent and contract roles as well. You can go to this site and you see some of this in yourself. The job market is still open. There are jobs out there to be able to exploit. And the main thing is, if you're able to do the training, then you will be ready to go here and start applying for the job. So I share this with you just for you to see what the market entails. Let me go back to my slide. 1 second, let's go. Okay, so I think I've talked about the job market.
Philip, sorry to cut you in. I think for some reason I can't see from my end those who wants to join. So if you see, kindly accept to the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you, Paul. Okay. Let me see if somebody is on there. 1 second. Okay, I think everyone have joined in. So what is software testing? When I just want to, I think one of the things that I want to share with you is everyone use software application. One way or the other, you are testing it because you are a user on the application already. But when you get a role as a software tester, the main specific thing is you are testing on specific requirements or specific acceptance criteria. That is what makes it more unique as a role. But I believe everyone has got a mindset already as a software tester. But this is the definition that I give us for software testing. And one most important thing that most people ask, I think, oh, sorry, my slide is moving. Oh, I don't know. Sorry. So what makes a good software tester? Okay. I got this to just explain to you that if you see this, you'll be able to, somebody who have a good written, verbal and written communication. So I believe everyone has got that already. You are passionate about the software that you are working on. Also, you have the technical skills to show that you'll be able to. It's not any technical skill, I believe everyone, and analytic skills, and also most importantly, having an attitude. Okay, when I say attitude, when you are testing, remember that the developer have developed a code, and you are testing what they have, the changes that they are bringing into the application. You find a bug, and how you are going to communicate that with the developers, or maybe if you see a bug, how you do that. So I believe that we have all these skills that we should discuss it with them. I don't think anyone would be so happy to tell a developer that, oh, I've seen a bug and I'm happy that I'm seeing a bug here. No, we see that we work together as a team. Okay, most of the roles that I've seen, I always say we have something called three amigos. The three amigos, the BA, the developer, the tester. They are the three major roles that we work together. So attitude is how you communicate with them, and also you have productivity. So these are the characters that, as a good software tester, I believe you should have. There will be more than this, but this is the little that I'm sharing with you today. And one of the key things that oh, sorry, I think I don't know. I don't know. My slide is moving. Whilst okay, so types of software testing. I think the reason why I want to share this with you, sometimes people might there are so many types, but the major types of testing is when you can work as manual tester or automation tester. Today we have Joseph, who is already on the meeting, is going to talk us through about the automation testing. But automation testing is where you to write what the manual tester is doing. So I believe it's an exceptional skills to have whilst you are testing. But when we talk about whiteboard, it's made the developer developing code, and we have the black box testing. The black box testing is what testers really put in place. Gray testing, I think it's not very much. I think it falls in between the white box and black box. And mostly when you go on a project, you have to identify what kind of testing the team need. So mostly the testers will have a test plan to identify what kind of testing they will be able to put in place. But there are so many types of testing. I'm not going to go through all, but this is just a little, just to give you a heads up. And when we are doing training, we try to give people understanding of what kind of testing you'll be able to talk to you. So the training that we are doing is giving you a heads up for you to discuss. It's not theory, it's more practical. So we go through all these scenarios. Okay. What's happening here? Sorry, I think something is happening. Okay. Guys, 1 second. I think for certain reason it keep. Okay, so when we're going into software, sorry about that. I think the slides keep moving up, and I'm not sure why it's moving up. When we are talking about the software testing, this is the picture that I just want to give to you guys. We have the software development lifecycle. So the whole team that I've mentioned, the project manager, this is what we are all going through. So the requirements will pick up. There's a lot of planning. So we work in the form of a team to go into the deployment. So the development life cycle will go through the requirements, the designing, the implementation, testing, maintenance, and it goes through this cycle. And I think I've got a step here for you. Paul, is it okay to mute yourself, please? Check whether.
Yes, I'm muted.
Okay. So the development life cycle, this is the major things that every product goes through. Oh, why is the slide moving? Let me pause this. Okay. So basically, the requirement stage is what the BA's product owner. We can hear so many roles. BA's start requirements, and then they do an analysis on what the. So I'm going to give an example of maybe Amazon when they are working on the product. The BAs will pick the requirements on the application, what the users want. So, for instance, or the users want to. They want different categories. Maybe they want different features. I've seen Amazon building like new. Every day they have new features coming in. So the BAs will be picking the requirements. Okay, they do analysis. Most projects, and for instance, such as Amazon, I don't think they'll be doing much of designing because application is designed already. So in this case, designing will be skipped. They do more of implementation, where implementation is where developers goes and that is being asked for. Then, as I mentioned, testing also do their testing here. Deployment is where we want to ship what the requirement that we want to put in. We do deployment, so we call it release or deployment. And maintenance. Most applications do a lot of maintenance, bringing in new changes to maintain the application. So this is the software development lifecycle. See, okay, and one of the major things that we go through as part of this training, which is involving the software testing lifecycle, the testing team has to go through their own lifecycle as well. So the testing team also have to look at things from what the requirement is saying, what test plan we need to put in place, what test design we need to do, what test execution we have to implement, and what defect we're finding on the application. So testing will now close the ticket and say the requirement has been met. As I mentioned to you earlier on, that software is more about finding a bug. So this is one of the major cycle that the software testing goes through. And I think we work in part of the team, but we go through this process. So as part of our training, we give this, we try to let people understand this cycle. Then you'll be able to, maybe you might go to an interview, somebody will ask you, what do you do in your test design? What do you do in your test execution? You will be able to explain to them what you can do. And this is the structure of the training. So today I'm just giving you a little bit heads up, and you can see more details when you join our detailed training. And as part of the structure, we have agile methodology. I might say we have different kind of methodology. I didn't add it to it because it might take time. We have waterfall, we have V model, and we have agile. The reason why I focus on agile is almost 90% of organization, everyone will ask you, everyone wants you to have the agile mentality. So in agile, we do daily stand-up, we do sprints, and they do continuous feedback. Okay, so as a tester, when you are working with a team, you go through the agile process and you want to understand. So this is what the key elements in the agile process. So they have something called product backlog. So in the product backlog, this is where all the requirements is sitting. Okay, and then they do sprint planning to bring items into their sprint backlog. So in our training, what we do with candidates is we do this as part of the training, because I know 90% of recruiters will be asking you questions about this, and this is part of what we do. So we let you understand what the sprint backlog is, what kind of cycle you use. Here it's showing 1 to 4 weeks, but most companies might use 1 to 2 weeks. So we need to discuss that, and who is a scrum master on the role. So, and basically the activities. One of the main activities, you're going to have a daily stand-up. Daily stand-up is like a 15 minutes meeting where you will talk about what you've done previously, what you're going to do that same day. And at the end of every sprint meeting, what's going to happen is we need to do what we call sprint review, okay, and sprint retrospective. These are very key activities that is being done on sprint. What does sprint review do? Okay, sprint review basically gives you the team an idea that we've worked within 2 weeks. What do we need to improve? Okay, or maybe another ticket have come in. Do we need to review the ticket and put it in our sprint backlog or our product backlog? So this is where the team will be having sprint review to discuss that. And sprint retrospective, this is where people might work on a project and there were things that they were having challenge with. An example would be maybe the tester couldn't get hold of the developer when we were working within the 2-week sprint. Retrospective is where you will be speaking about some of this challenge. And then we will say, okay, the developer, why were you not there for the tester? And they have this discussion. So this is very important in our training that we are providing, but just a heads up for you to see what we are putting in place. Okay, I think, and part of the training, we also do the test management and tools. What are test management and tools? That within testing, there are so many tools that we have to, there are so many tools. The reason why I'm saying that is some people might go through training and you don't learn some of these tools. We ensure that you learn Jira, okay? We have Jira that we're going to set you on. We have performance tests. Performance tests, one of the tools that we use is JMeter. You're going to have a JMeter setup. You're going to have Postman also to help you to understand test APIs. So this gives you some tools that you can put on your CV that you'll be able to showcase yourself to employers that you are ready for the market. So as I mentioned, it's an upskilling, and we try to focus on major things that's going to give you a job. One of the key things in the testing is we need to understand the defect life cycle. So we have this as part of our project to give you understanding what the defect life cycle is. So let me explain what defect life cycle is. When I see a bug, how do I raise the ticket on the team? Do I just go to anyone to say, do I go to BA to say I've seen a bug? Or do I go to the developer? And when I go to a developer, who do I communicate with? So there's a defect life cycle that you need to go through, and we discuss that as part of our training to give you more understanding. So some of the tools I think I've mentioned that already. Performance testing, API testing is very important in software testing. Our training is going to give you these major tools to get into the job market. Okay. This is very important to our training, where we ensure that you have a live project. Our live project is going to be a hands-on experience. So how do we do the live project? We set a user, after we've gone through a theory training, we do practical training. So the practical training, we set users on the Jira board, we set users on our Slack channels, we set users to test on an application that we have. So we have a test environment that we are going to create tickets for you to work just like you are working in a work environment. And why do we do that? That gives you more confidence to go into the job market. So this is what the live project is all about. I think I'm going to hand over to Joseph, one of our directors who handle our automation training, to go through what he will be doing on the automation training. So guys, thank you very much. Do anyone have a question before I hand over to Joseph? If you have a question, I'm